let me ask you guys this.
Denzel was Dorsey.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Is anybody sitting here safely feeling like, oh, this is the move that puts the Browns into the playoffs
There's
next year?
two things that concern me about this move. One, all the anti-analytics people like it. That makes me nervous because they're generally dumb.
I like it even more than.
Look, right?
I like it even more than. Because the analytics crowd is losing cachet every day.
Number two, I'm a little upset that Jim Schwartz, he's got the last name Schwartz, he should be Jewish. That's a Jewish last name. And he's not Jewish.
And that concerns you.
I went to Jew or Not a Jew today, and it said Jim Schwartz was not a Jew.
Wait, is there literally
Apparently there is. I Googled.
It's called Jew or Not a Jew?
Yes, I Googled, is Jim Schwartz Jewish? Because I was curious because it's a Jewish last name.
Now, let me ask you this. Why would that make a difference for you?
Because, it doesn't. I'm kidding.
But you would root for him more, right?
You said you like Josh Rosen because you
Yeah, you did.
Well, I wanted there to be one Jewish quarterback. But that's true. Like we got good representation in a lot of areas I care about, but we got nothing at quarterback. The last Jewish quarterback
you got
was
entertainment
Jay
locked
Fiedler.
out. Okay, you got entertainment locked out.
He is the first person I've ever heard overtly stand up and say, listen, I'm a homer for the Jewish people.
Yeah.
like who does that? Like no one does that. You're the first person to do it.
You know what though? Given their history, I'm okay with that. Paul, you're allowed to do that. In fact, I encourage you to do that.
I'm joking that I don't really care that he's not Jewish, but I just think it was funny.
But it does bother you that because he's not in the analytics bucket. He's not.
No, but
he's not in the anti-analytics bucket either. As
well,
far
he
as
was
I can
part
tell.
of the Eagles organization, and they're very heavily analytics.
Very
based,
heavily.
So
if it was going to be an analytics hire, it probably would have been Sean Desai.
Right.
I would think so too.
And the fact that
Desai's pedigree, he's got his doctorate from Temple. He's got his master's from Columbia. His undergrad from BU. I mean, this guy, when I saw his resume, even before I heard the interview went well, I go, oh, there's their guy.
Right there,
He's one of them.
And you see
he's an Ivy Leaguer.
People sending me clips about him. He's like, man, this guy's really sharp. I think when you break down his hire, you got the first bucket of people, right? If it was the analytics, it'd be like, ooh, the people that they really wanted to hire. If they made the playoffs, they was gonna hire him if they needed a new coordinator because they had some more time.
Yeah.
So this could go bad or good.
Yeah,
so
you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
The splash was your boy
Brian
Flores.
Yes.
But here's what they thought. Well, you know what? If he come here and do well, he's out of here. He's a head coach next year, and we doing this all over again.
I'm not sure
I don't buy
that's
that
true.
they thought that.
I mean,
I think your boy Jeff Lloyd is lost on that.
I've talked to folks that cover the NFL and have done it for a long time as a living that are fearful that Flores isn't getting it.
That's exactly where I'm
not
at.
getting
I
it.
said that on the show. I don't think he's ever getting.
Or
That's
head
what he
coaching
said that
job.
last week.
That is very interesting.
I
to
don't
me.
think you don't hire a guy because you're worried he's going to get another job next year.
No.
No.
You don't hire a guy because he's burning down your organization.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Listen, that's a gentleman's blackball.
Oh, listen, that happens all the time. Gentleman's blackball.
That is a gentleman's
They
blackball.
didn't really Kaepernick you, but they did hit you with the league go down. You've been exiled a little bit. We'll get and now you're the new Rooney Rule, right?
Gentleman's black.
That's the high Rooney Rule, right? Like, cause he's actually qualified and can get the job. Yeah. So they're like, you know what? We're gonna give you the best interviews of all time. We're gonna call you back and everything, and then go ahead and gentleman's blackball you.
I thought his statements that obviously a head coaching job is more appealing. After his Browns interview,
See, that's what I'm saying.
If I'm making that hire, that turns me off right now. I'm just like, nope, he's not our guy.
He's looking to do something else.
I think Schwartz was always their first choice.
Yeah, I don't think you can be scared off by that because you want people that, if you're a healthy organization, you want people to grow and leave and then have someone ready to come up.
Yeah.
That's what the Guardians have done for years.
That's true, but you also, because defensive coordinator is, I'll make this case, I think the defensive coordinator is the second most important person on the staff.
Yep.
Jay,
Because he's so
Jay,
high
is that
up.
This staff, or is that any football
This
staff?
staff. This staff.
Yeah.
It's
right.
the second highest, most important
doubt.
position. To your point, I don't want to do this all over again next year. I don't want to go through this. This is painful.
And his defense, Flores, is totally different from the rest of the.
It is.
So now
you're making big adjustments.
So we make adjustments. Go get the people. Now you gone. Now we got these people here, and it's like what?
Yeah.
But I agree with you, Jason. Whenever I speak to, when I've talked to like up and coming sports radio people or sports people in Cleveland, or whatever, anybody coming up, I'm always like, do your job as if you're trying to get a job in New York. Whether you want to work in Cleveland the rest of your life, do your job as if you're trying to get a job in New York. Don't just say, well, okay, I don't need to work that hard. I don't need to move up the ladder or whatever.
And that's fine. That's understandable. Yeah. But again, when I think all things being equal, look, Jim Schwartz, I don't know that he'll get another chance at being a head coach.
No,
I don't.
I doubt it.
56,
probably not.
And so I think the hire of Schwartz is very safe because this is a guy that if they have instant success, I could see him being the defensive coordinator here for over 5 years.
And he won't rock the boat.
Where did he have his best success? As the DC in Philly. What was the situation there? A younger head coach, right, who was an offensive guy.
Sure.
Same thing. I mean, and I can't even remember whose article I was reading. I was reading so many articles this morning. But basically this person was saying that Stefanski and Schwartz are a good combo because Schwartz is going to basically be the head coach of the defense.
Right.
And he's not looking to take Kevin Stefanski's job.
And that's why I this morning I feel I'm excited because it's a huge upgrade from where we were.
Yeah.
This guy has head coaching experience. He is a pedigreed defensive coordinator. I think even with the same personnel, our defense made an upgrade today.
Absolutely.
Yes.
McNuggets.
So on Friday, in case anyone missed the show, we had DeQuell Jackson on. And
Yeah.
DeQuell didn't play for Jim Schwartz specifically.
Right. Schwartz, Mike.
So I said Schwartz.
You said Schwartz.
I said Schwartz.
Come on now.
Jew to Jew, we can say Schwartz how we want, Bull. Come on, this is a brotherhood. You can't be throwing me under the bus.
That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
But we had DeQuell on, and DeQuell talked about the kind of coach he knows Schwartz. Bull, is that acceptable?
Yeah, it's
Schwartz to be. Let's take a listen. This is DeQuell on Friday.
I never played for Jim Schwartz, but I've spent some time around him. He's a no-nonsense guy.
Okay, good.
If anybody can come in and light a fire up under anyone's tail, it's him. He's a no-nonsense guy. You either love him or you hate him. But he's gonna push guys. No matter if you're Myles Garrett or a guy off the street, he's gonna push you. He's gonna be the same way. So again, I go back to I heard Brad say this earlier. It's about personality. Who can motivate these guys? Who can you bring in to get this defense to play up to their potential and far exceed?
Yeah, there you go. No doubt about it. DeQuell did pronounce it wrong, too. By the way, speaking of pronunciations, today is James Earl Jones' 92nd birthday. And I think we'd all agree that if you had to hire someone to narrate your life, you'd pick James Earl Jones.
Oh, without question.
Is there any better choice?
No.
I mean, James Earl Jones, shout out to him because people don't realize he was in Conan the Barbarian.
He was.
And he was kind of jacked.
He was.
He was on, I don't know what he was on back then allegedly, but he was like.
Well, Arnold was giving him some cocktails before the shoot.
James Earl Jones was out here.
The only other guy put in the discussion is Morgan Freeman. But James Earl Jones is definitely number one.
James he's so authoritative.
But somebody, in honor of his 92nd birthday, I don't know who did this, but somebody tweeted out an old video from 40, 50 years ago of James Earl Jones doing the voice for a documentary about the Cuyahoga River. And in that documentary, he said Cuyahoga.
No kidding.
Which means the
He's
powers that be told him that. We might have to all change the way we say it.
Well, if James says Cuyahoga,
I got to go Cuyahoga.
Probably Cuyahoga.
Look how the tables have turned.
Yeah. Well, he's the authoritative voice of all.
That's James Earl Jones.
The voice of God.
I wonder how much you would have to pay him to do voiceovers.
It ain't cheap.
Oh my God!
I wonder if he still does it at 92.
Yeah.
I mean, is it could you get him for I don't know,
like an Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show? Open.
No, he all he got to do is say 3 words.
This is the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Hey, Steve,
that's all I want.
Steve, where you at? Get that on. Can we get him in?
But remember, there was a movie. I don't remember the name of it, but there was a movie with Will Ferrell where he was walking. That there was a woman narrating his whole life, like he turned up.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the name of the movie. But can you imagine you're just walking around and James Earl Jones is narrating everything you're doing in your life?
Does Frank Caliendo do a James Earl Jones? Can we get Frank to do
I
it?
bet he does. Yeah. He does everybody else. Frank is so good.
Jay, do you know Frank? You know everybody.
I do know Frank.
Can we get Frank on?
You know what? Let me give it a shot right now.
All right. So while Jay's texting,
I will say he loves publicity, any kind of publicity.
Tell him he does. While Jay's texting Frank, though, he did ask a question earlier. We didn't get a chance to answer because we got off on the Jew or not Jew, is Schwartz Jewish or not. G, I'll start with you. We'll go around the horn. Does this Jim Schwartz hire make the Browns a playoff team next year? Like, is that just immediately by itself a boost?
But not by itself. Not by itself.
No.
They have such gaping holes that they have to address. However, as I said, this morning I'm excited because I believe, without changing any personnel on the defensive side of the football, their defense got better.
So I like the premise with that. I think that they will actually be more fundamentally sound. They won't give up a bunch of missed assignments and 150 yards on the ground to no-name backs because they're not in their gaps. I think that'll help. But ultimately, it's going to come down to these defenses. What can they get? To me, it comes down to how creative Andrew Berry is this year. He's going to have to earn his money because he's going to have to use everything. He's going to have to use trades. He's going to have to draft well. He's going to have to go to free agency and spend some money. And he's going to have to hope some of his people that he drafted before develop for this to be a hit.
We talked during the season about how the Browns' run defense was historically bad. It hadn't been this bad. The the EPA of the rush defense was the worst in 25 years since they started keeping the stat. This hire tells me the Browns said we're going to fix the run. We're going to fix the run defense. We're going to figure out how to stop the run because that's what Jim Schwartz defenses do. Now, do you need the personnel to go along with that? Yeah, sure. We've been talking about it all morning. But this was the first step in saying this was the problem. This is what held us back all season long. We have to fix this. He's the guy to fix it.
Does Jim Schwartz, are the Browns a better football team today than they were yesterday? I believe they are. Are they definitely a playoff team? Of course not. That's absurd. There's no way they can definitely be a playoff team because I don't know what Deshaun Watson is. We can talk about the defense all we want. They can fix the run defense. They can play well. Deshaun Watson has to be Deshaun Watson, especially in the AFC. You can get away with mediocre quarterback play in the NFC. You can't get away with that in the AFC. Because all the good quarterbacks in the league right now are in the AFC. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, but you say that. I watched a third-string quarterback from Miami damn near beat Buffalo.
I hear you.
Well, he might be good, too.
I hear you. Listen.
I also watched him struggle to score 6 points the week before.
You know what? The Bills didn't play great. The Bengals didn't play great. In the end, good teams find a way to win in those games, even when they're not playing their best game.
And look out for sunshine. All of a sudden, Trevor Lawrence is pulling up saying, what, I'm good now, too.
The Bengals, Chiefs, and Bills are good. You know, barring catastrophic injuries, are probably going to be in the playoffs every year.
All these quarterbacks are under 26 years old.
Yes.
Whoever would have guessed in September the Dolphins and Jaguars would be playoff teams this year? They were on nobody's list.
No one.
So it's impossible to sit here today and say who is and who's not a playoff team next year.
It wouldn't be nearly as dramatic a leap for these Browns.
No.
Who we've all said the roster's there, the pieces.
The Browns could definitely be a playoff team next year.
Yes.
I mean, they're not the Texans where you're like, there's no chance they're not a playoff
listen,
team.
we've talked about it all year. Fall on the onside kick, don't throw the pick against the Chargers. There's 2 wins.
But in the end,
and Brian gets you in.
But guys, in the end, it's going to come down to how good is Deshaun Watson.
Yes, 100%.
Right? Whether
For
they're
sure.
a playoff. If
Absolutely.
Deshaun Watson gets back to the guy he was in Houston, I think there's a good chance they're going to be a playoff team.
Think about this. You got the best running back.
Yeah.
You got arguably the best defensive end. You got one of the best offensive linemen. I don't understand. It's crazy. Like, you got nice young. I think they got the best rookie.
Well, your term of studs and duds, I think that's what this team has become. Unfortunately, the pieces that you have to accumulate to put around superstars to win championships, this team has woefully underachieved in that area. And that's what really concerns me about this talent acquisition group that they have. I think they've missed.
Yeah, they haven't done a great job generally on the second and third tier caliber players. There's a lot of good first tier players. I mean, the Browns have 2 All-Pros, right? The rest of the division combined has 2 All-Pros.
Right.
So I get it. They have some really elite caliber players, but they have other spots where they got zeros, and you can't afford that.
You just can't have zeros at D tackle.
Yeah.
You just, even if they was 5s, right?
Right.
You could do something with 5s. Like, you could tell 5s, hey, just don't get blown off the ball. Stay right here. No tackles. You ain't got to take. Just don't get blown off the ball. And we got guys that not only don't make tackles, they get blown off the ball. You can't do anything.
Now, I will say, I'm a firm believer that you get better the longer you do it.
Yes.
And if you look at the first draft under Andrew Berry and you look at this draft, or last year's draft, I think last year's draft could wind up being pretty good. You know, we'll go through the list again. Martin Emerson, we've already talked about him. He was a hit.
Yep.
Alex Wright, there's something there. We need to see more. David Bell, disappointed. I expected more out of him this year.
Underachieved.
Disappointment, but not ready to give up on him. Perrion Winfrey, needs some growing up to do.
There's potential.
Cade York, it is what it is. Jerome Ford, we're going to get a big look at next year. Yeah.
And by the way, I would already put Jerome Ford in the hit category.
I'm not ready to do that. We need to see more.
Here's why. We didn't get to see him in his primary position. I saw enough from him as a return man to know that he can run the football. We also saw it in the preseason.
Yeah.
I think he's a hit.
He's a hit
who
as
just
a
didn't get an
special
opportunity
teamer.
to show. That's why I'm disappointed. When it was clear that the Browns had no future with Kareem Hunt, what the hell? The season's over. These last 2 games, I'm disappointed we didn't see 15 carries a game
I
with
agree.
Ford.
I agree.
We don't know what he is now, and
They
that's
should
the
have
Browns'
used him more.
fault.
So, I mean, listen, I'm not ready to declare this rookie class is a game changer.
Like any class a year out, there's a question mark behind it.
Sure, but I think we've seen enough from some of these rookies to go, okay, I think there's something there we need to see more.
That's fair.
The class is a couple years back. I think you look at it and go, man, there's not a lot
Greedy
of hits
Williams, look at their misses. I mean, my goodness, Greedy
there.
Williams.
That wasn't this regime, though.
No, I know, but
Yeah, that was
But Schwartz
Dorsey.
Schwartz is this regime.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I could go through the other years too and find guys that haven't worked out. And you know what? In fairness, a year or two from now, we may look back at this class and go, nope, bunch of misses there too. It's so hard to say this early. I'm just saying, I think the longer you're in a role, the first time, when you're a rookie GM and you're going through a draft for the first time, you're going to make mistakes. And then hopefully in year 2, you're better. By now, there are no more excuses. You should be able to know how to identify talent, know what you're looking for, and go out and get those guys.
Ultimately, this regime is going to be graded based on what happens with Deshaun Watson.
By the way,
Well, because it was an all-in move.
It was an all-in move,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm just throwing this out here. McNuggets, I don't know if the stats department got this.
What's up? I got you, G.
We know we need a receiver. Guy that just popped into my head, one Calvin Ridley. He got thrown out
just
for the
traded.
He's on the Jaguars traded for him this year.
Yeah.
Son of a, they got him too.
Yep.
Yeah, Sunshine's got Calvin Ridley
This
this year.
guy, they cheating, bro. This like this.
Yeah, that trade was kind of under the radar at the trade
They
deadline.
snuck him in,
Yeah.
and they got these other receivers. This is crazy.
Yeah, they got Zay Jones.
Oh, they kind of listen. That's why I be mad. People talk about 1 year. Hey man, we got to change the culture. This dude came down there and made some trades, and Pederson is now like the Jaguars
were
was
a
good.
disaster under Urban Meyer.
Oh, and it was
disaster.
like horrible. Now they did this good.
Well, they also play in a pretty lousy division.
Yes.
So that's
and
worth
had
pointing
Trevor
out.
Lawrence for a full season.
Yeah.
Not, you know.
And also worth pointing out, I guess, the Athletics reporting that Brandon Staley's going back. He's going to stay with the Chargers for one more year. Fired the OC today, fired their passing game coordinator, but Brandon Staley, local boy, is going to get one more year with the Chargers.
I think that's a mistake.
I'm surprised. I
It's
thought he'd
all
be
on
fired.
Staley, to me.
I
all of it.
thought he'd be fired
All
after that
on
playoff
Staley.
loss.
How did he stick around, bro?
It's unbelievable. Because his decision last year at the last game of the regular season cost them a playoff berth, and this year, I'm sorry.
27?
I don't know that I've ever seen a team, maybe Atlanta in the Super Bowl, but he took his foot off. He didn't take his foot off the gas. He got out of the car.
Yeah.
I don't know which is worse, that Jets loss or that loss. Because the Jets
That's the
lost.
playoffs, though.
But this is the playoffs.
27 to nothing.
27 rip.
And amazingly, after the game, Herbert gave him a resounding vote of confidence. Like, this
Yeah.
is my guy. I don't want to see him go. Man, that's amazing.
Wow.
My dad called me and said, hey, because he came to my house and we was like, we went and got something to eat. My mom and dad left. He could say, hey, did you know that the Jaguars won that game? I said, shut up, bro. We was a 27-0, bro.
Yeah.
And I turned it on. I turned SportsCenter on. By the way, that's a good thing about SportsCenter, right? Like, you can turn it on and rewind it. I turned SportsCenter on, and I just couldn't believe it. Like, how can you not get first downs? All you had to do was get a couple first downs.
They didn't run the ball at all. They don't run.
They didn't get a single first down in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And to your point, G, I talked to my dad on Sunday morning. He goes, what a terrible night of football. Like,
No, it was fantastic.
I go, what are you talking about,
I
Dad?
thought it was great.
He goes,
It was
I went to-
No,
He didn't know either.
realize
He goes,
that they
he goes,
lost.
it was 27-0. I went to bed. I'm like,
Yeah.
go on ESPN.com. Yeah. And it's like, I think I missed something.
I thought this weekend, I know it's been, marketed now as Super Wild Card
Yeah.
Weekend. I think the way they do it with the 2 games Saturday, 3 Sunday,
Yeah.
and the Monday night game.
No, I hate the
I don't.
I
I
love
agree.
It. I
hate
love it.
the-
I know it puts them at a disadvantage for
huge
reloading for the next
disadvantage.
round, but it gives fans another big playoff
I
game
love
on
it.
Monday night.
I
like
like
it.
it.
Otherwise, you know what you're watching last night? Nothing.
Roseanne.
Hey, by the way, kudos
Roseanne.
kudos to Dak Prescott. We've killed him a lot over the years. He played his ass off last
He was
night.
awesome
He was
last
fat.
night.
I mean, he missed his first 3 passes. I don't think he missed after that. He missed like 1 or 2.
He had, I think,
away.
11 in a row after that. He broke Troy Aikman's record for the most consecutive completions
got
by a
them up
Cowboy
out
in
of
the
there.
playoffs.
They killed him.
Got them
That was
out
so
of
know
there.
what?
weird
I'll
with
tell
their
you-
kicker.
I
He's been
wanna
great
bring-
all year.
Unreal.
He's been great
Hang
all
on.
year.
Before you move on,
Yeah.
there should not be a Monday night game There
in the
should
playoffs?
be.
Why?
Because they have to
Well,
go
they're
from
at a
Tampa to
disadvantage
Dallas,
now.
and now they have to go to San Francisco
Yeah.
on 2 days less rest. Than it's
No, it's 1 day less.
no, well, no.
one day.
The
right?
Niners played on Saturday. It's 2 days.
Oh, you're saying the Niners?
Oh, the Niners-Cowboys game is on Saturday?
It's on Sunday.
Okay, it's on Sunday, yeah.
So they have 2 days less
Oh,
rest.
yeah, I see what
than
you're
what
saying.
San
Now,
Francisco
it would be
had.
very unfair to make them play next Saturday after playing on a Monday.
No, but I mean, they still have to travel across the country.
No, I
so
get that.
I think it's. I mean, I know everything's driven by TV.
But-
I get it, but I think it's a terrible.
Putting Dallas on a Monday night in the playoffs
Yeah.
made the league in the tens of millions of
Yeah.
dollars.
It was a terrible game.
because it was a massive number.
Yeah,
Jerry
yeah,
was
yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
what they've done is they're just spreading this playoff love out over 3 days.
Yeah.
The football that we got Saturday and Sunday, I know that they started and ended with blowouts, but the 4 games in the middle were all one-score games.
Yeah.
Keep that up there.
All decided by one play, literally by one play.
I just morphed back. I
Oh.
morphed back to my childhood. I'm looking at these division games.
It's the NFC East
It's
versus the
1988.
Yeah.
That
It's
is.
1992.
You're right, you're right.
Like, this is all there was every single year. Matter of fact, all those teams play 5 times apiece on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, right.
I only thought there was those teams in the Browns.
It's what it is in the NFC is
Yeah.
it's you got the NFC East minus the Commanders
Right.
versus the 49ers.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all that's left in the playoffs. It's amazing.
yeah.
I don't know that it's ever happened that you've had 3 teams from one division.
First time in the history of the NFL.
I
I
thought
really,
it's
one
I
division.
really feel
I
like
hate the
Dallas. By the
divisional
way, I
round.
really feel like Dallas is going to beat. I have Dallas and San Francisco as my NFC Championship game because I thought the Vikings were
Dallas
going to win.
is such an enigma. The week before they
looked
they
terrible.
couldn't get a first down.
Yeah.
They could not get a first down. So I don't know who they are.
I tell you that Purdy kid, man. I don't.
And we're going to do a full, after Aditi, we're going to get into all the NFL
Purdy, man.
chaos.
Well, I ain't never seen
We
that
got
like
10
it.
minutes left in the Browns here, though. We're going to get to
I
all that.
want to
the
say
NFL
one thing
stuff.
quickly about the Buccaneers. I think what the Buccaneers proved this year, more than anything else, out of all the things that I saw from the postseason, and the Chargers too, it is a referendum on this idea that you can just pass your way through the playoffs. Tom Brady threw the ball 66 times.
But they've done that all
66.
year.
I know they have.
Yeah.
But, as much as this is a passing league, and I thought Aikman and Joe Buck talked about this perfectly last night. Yes, it's a passing league, but you run in the NFL to establish the pass. And if you come to the party and you just tell everybody, I'm here to throw, you're going home. You are going home. The Chargers and the Buccaneers
I mean,
are
the Chargers
perfect
should have never
examples.
lost. I don't think they lost for that reason.
Hey, man.
I do. I mean, you've got to be more balanced. You
I
can't just
agree. If you can run the ball and
Are the Chiefs balanced?
they can
Yes,
run it
yeah,
effectively.
absolutely.
They
The
can
Chiefs
run,
are a lot
you
more
don't have to
balanced
be a
than you think.
run-dominant team, but you have to be able to run it effectively when you have to run it. And
if
the
the
Chargers in the
Chargers
second
could've run the
half
ball,
just
they're
get a
still
couple
playing.
first downs.
See,
just move the clock.
look,
But that, again, it goes back to that's why Jim Schwartz is here because
Yes.
the Browns believe in that too. Like
You got to
clearly.
stop the run when the other team is
Passing the-
jamming it down your
passing the
throat.
ball is like radiation. In small doses, great. Take an X-ray. Whoo, small doses, right? Hey,
66
Yeah.
passes.
66
Byron
times
Leftwich
is going to Chernobyl.
Byron Leftwich was
division.
fired today.
He got fired?
Bucks OC.
Yep.
He did get
Well,
fired.
I mean,
There's more
as I'm
coming.
watching the game, and
Yeah.
it was a dichotomy of their whole season was that way. We saw that when we
Yeah,
played
yeah.
against them.
And-
All they had to do against Cleveland is run the ball.
And Tom Brady,
Stayed too long.
he's not. Tom Brady, by the way, I feel like on Twitter, everybody's like, Tom Brady's still great. It's not his fault at all, or Tom Brady sucks. When, as usual,
It's in the middle.
is in the middle.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's not the same player.
He's
That's
45.
clear.
He's
But he's
45.
still good enough. There's 10 teams that would
Hey,
love to have
is he
him
going
to
to play
start.
next year?
I
Yes or
think
no?
Mikey's
He's
ready
good
to
enough
strangle
to
us
start.
because I think we're flipping the order here.
Yeah, I know we are.
We'll get back.
This is
We'll-
good
If we had
conversation.
more time, I would say let's get into it because there's no way we're doing it in 8 minutes, and we got a DD coming
What,
on
Tom
in 8
Brady?
minutes.
I'll do it in 3 minutes. Is he playing next year?
Yes.
Yes, but
Oh,
not
yes,
in Tampa.
yes, yes.
Not in
Yeah.
Tampa.
I don't think he's in Tampa either.
Yeah, he playing.
Where's he playing?
He'll force his way somewhere.
I mean, if
Oakland,
So here's the choices.
Las Vegas. Sorry.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And because obviously the Josh McDaniel time.
Jets.
Tennessee needs a quarterback,
I'm
and
not
he and
going.
Mike Vrabel are very close.
Yeah, but they got no skill position talent
Don't
besides
matter.
Henry.
Besides Henry,
But
that's
they got
what
no
he lacked in
receivers.
Tampa
He's not
Bay.
going with no
Hey,
receivers.
Tom Brady can make receivers. And I still believe last night what we saw, Tom Brady missed a lot of passes that were wide open.
Yeah.
But last night was a perfect example of Dallas knew what they were going to do. They pinned their ears back, and they have the best game disruptor in the NFL.
If you
and
look,
Parsons was in his shorts
If
all
I'm
night
Tom
long.
Brady, I'm going to the Jets.
No.
They're a better team than
I don't think he wants to go back to that division.
he's wherever he goes, they have to be ready to win right now. And I don't think the Raiders are ready to win
The
right
Jets
now.
are the best team that needs a
The
quarterback.
Jets have very good receivers.
Yeah, they have great receivers.
They got a great running back in Breece Hall, assuming he's healthy next year.
Does he
They've
want
got a real good defense.
I don't think he wants to play in cold
I
weather.
was just going to say that.
Yeah,
Does
he
he want to
might
play in
not.
cold again? Tom Brady to me now, we had Joe Varden on last week, and Joe said something. I kept thinking about what Joe said watching Tom last night. LeBron can still give you LeBron numbers, but he's not going to elevate everyone else around
that's Tom
him.
Brady
Yeah.
now.
And that's kind of where Tom
That's
is
where
now.
Tom is, yeah.
He
Yeah.
can give you production,
Yeah.
but he can't turn schmucks into
I would
elite
have
players
liked
anymore.
to see. We talked about this at the beginning of the year when we were talking about the Browns. What are they going to do with Kareem Hunt? And I had said, if I'm the Bucs, I'm trading for Kareem Hunt right now. I need Kareem Hunt. He brings to my team what we need.
Yeah.
And they have an abundance of receivers. They could have afforded to give up something at receiver. Well, I just this whole season was kind of an experiment. Like, let's see what can happen if you just go out there and sling it 50 times a game. And we saw what happened. And last night we saw it in plain
They
living
just weren't
color.
a very good team.
I would love to have seen what
Yeah.
Tampa Bay could have done with an offensive coordinator that realized the importance of the run and a front office that realized that Kareem Hunt might be the missing piece there.
I don't think Kareem. I don't think Kareem is the Kareem you guys think.
Nah,
he is.
I agree. I think
well,
you're right.
it's because we haven't seen
Nobody,
it here.
nobody
he's-
offered
But I don't-
anything for him at the
We're
trade
going to find
deadline.
out next year when
Yeah,
he goes
yeah,
back to Kansas City.
What I'm
I don't think
interested
he's
in,
going back
what
to
I'm
Kansas
interested
City.
in is
We're gonna find out.
I need to see if we can poach some of these receivers in Tampa Bay. They don't got no quarterback. You might as well rebuild. You've been putting a
a good
band-aid
point.
on it.
That's a
You
good
got
point.
Mike Evans. You got Godwin.
Chris Godwin would be a great fit
Godwin's
for
a
this.
great receiver. I love him.
They need to go ahead and strip that down and stop playing around. So can you get one of those guys for something?
Yeah,
Sure, you could.
Godwin's the guy I would go after.
Yeah,
I would target
I'd like
him.
to have Godwin on
And
this
the
list.
other
He's a little
playoff
small,
games.
though. Boy, they're Gage. Were you guys watching late or did you turn it
Yeah,
off?
no,
No,
I was
I
watching.
shut it off.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah.
I need the over. I was watching.
By the way, I'll give.
That's why the NFL has embraced gambling.
We were out
right
watching.
there for what
We
you
were
just
out
said.
watching the Mikey and Anthony and I went out. We watched the end of the Dolphins-Bills game at Game On in Lakewood. We
Did
had
you
a great
watch the
time.
Bengals game then? Out?
No, I
Oh,
don't
I was going
watch
to say
that.
that is totally
No.
not
And
you.
then we watched the Giants-Vikings game. The Giants were excellent. They played great.
We're going to talk about that. Don't worry.
Danny
then,
Dimes, man.
And then I was sweating out. The Bengals did not play well, obviously, and that was a game. But that fumble touchdown was unbelievable.
Did you agree or disagree with the notion from these, Twitter referees that there was a block in the back on that return?
Yeah, there was.
I thought so live. Watch
Yeah,
it live.
I did too. I was
shoved him.
shocked. They never talked about it. I'm like, where is the flag?
Yeah.
What I didn't understand is the Bengals had 4 guys running with him. Why didn't one of them turn around before he got there and block him the
Because
right
they
way?
could have. They had a convoy.
But
it
you know
was-
what
it
are you
was
going to do?
weird.
Yes, I'm not one of these homers that can't admit when my call gets. Just like Giants fans were whining about that pass, about that hit in the head to Kirk Cousins.
It was soft.
But he hit him in the helmet. They call that every time. Every time.
That was-
Of course
They're gonna
it's
call
soft, but that's the rule.
Well, there was an offsides that was called against Bosa that I thought was incredibly tic-tac. His helmet was over the line.
Yeah.
His entire body was behind the line.
Right.
But you could see that, they put the red line over the line
Yeah,
of
yeah.
scrimmage where just the tip of his helmet was in that zone, and they called a penalty. Now, it ended up being a huge sack, which damn near took them out of field goal range. On the next play, they scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
And if you look at that football game
Right.
and how close it was,
Right.
I thought the officiating this weekend was bad. I did.
It's always bad.
We
in the
just,
division rounds.
again, I don't understand in 2023 why we don't have a replay official in every stadium at minimum for the playoffs to get the call. I don't want to hear about this is not reviewable. This is. I got a guy watching the game with all the angles, and if in 30 seconds he could see a clear missed
They
call,
were doing
you
that.
correct it.
They were doing that this weekend with that quick review
right, but
thing.
they did it last year. But they only do it for things that are reviewable. I
Right,
think they should
right.
do it for everything.
Oh,
Are you
well,
going to
that
start
could
doing it
slow
for
it
holding
down.
calls?
That could
What's
slow
that?
Are you
everything
going to start
down.
doing it for penalties and holding
Yeah,
calls?
that could slow everything down.
I would.
Oh,
In
bull, yeah,
15
5 hours
seconds or less.
People will go crazy because that's the premise of the. There's certain things that's a judgment. Like there's certain things that, and that's if you've been
It's
calling.
got to be obvious.
But
I know,
15
but Bull, the
seconds, I
problem
see
with
it.
that
But
is
if
when you're late in a game and a team's
Yeah.
in a hurry up and you're going, there's a rhythm that you develop.
Right.
If every play is, hold on, we got to look.
And
No,
then
you take that away.
as
in
a
the
player-
rhythm of the game. You can, if you don't get it in time, if you don't make the change in time, if it's not
as
obvious.
a player,
moving. Wow.
every defensive lineman can respect this.
Yeah.
As a player, if they call it in one way, you know, okay, well let me adjust my game. because they call it this way. But if you got somebody else up top making calls, you're like, hold on. So in the first quarter, like obviously this is the speed of the game, how we calling it. But now all of a sudden some other dude is pulling.
But in the end, we got, listen, the officials make some mistakes. We got all these high def TVs. We see everything. They make mistakes. What are you going to do? It's a hard job.